All right, we are continuing our series where we grade
That's right.
your dynasty trades. That's right. You can submit dynasty trades in our Discord. Link is in the description if you want to join that Discord. And when you submit a dynasty trade for the community to look at and kind of help you with, we consider it for this series. Okay.
Absolutely.
So big shout out to Cinnammy13. I'm probably saying that wrong. Big shout out to you for submitting this trade over there. And this was one that people were very split on.
Mm-hmm.
So Team A receives Cam Akers and Brandon Ayuk. Team B receives Travis Etienne and the 107. I'm hoping that we see this differently because maybe it would be good perspective, but I could be wrong. So who do you think won this trade?
In all honesty, I think it's split down the middle. I think it's very even. I think the biggest question is, in who do you believe in more? Do you believe in the Cam Akers side or the Travis Etienne? And it's really, which injury do you want? Do you want the torn Achilles or do you want that foot injury with Travis Etienne? And I think that's the biggest question here. And the second question for me is, what can you get for that 107? Because I think Brandon Ayuk will be a decent guy. I think, he in rookie mock drafts, where was he going? Maybe like early second.
In rookie last year?
Yeah, no, for Brandon Ayuk. Like he was going
in the rookie only drafts last year.
Yeah, he was going like early second-ish, depending on your leagues. And I think if you can get at the 107, a Pickett, a Lave, a Jameson Williams, I think that's a lot better than Brandon Ayuk. But that's the expectation. The talent versus Brandon Ayuk is a lot better. Or you can get a quarterback. Why not try and get a Kenny Pickett? Maybe he lands in a good spot. Maybe Malik Willis falls to you at the 107, depending on how that goes, whatever the case may be. But if you get a quarterback in return in there as well, that'd be good. But I do believe it's fairly even for this trade, in my opinion.
Okay. For me, I love the team. I love the trade for Team B. I am all aboard the Team B side here. For me, it's a little bit less black and white in my opinion, but that might be because I have very strong opinions on the players involved. Okay. If you're watching this, your perspective is going to come down to two things in my mind. How do you view Cam Akers versus Etienne? Okay. Yeah. For me, I've been screaming from the rooftops, sell Cam Akers ever since the Achilles injuries, right? We've had a buy or sell on it. We've had to sell high running backs, and Cam Akers just always finds his way onto that list for me. At the end of the day, it comes down to history. We've never seen a running back recover from this sort of injury and give elite production, okay? And I will just point to the playoffs. I know I keep doing this, but it's only 4 games. But during the playoffs, in those 4 games, we had Cam Akers averaging 2.6 yards per carry.
Right.
No touchdowns in 4 games, 2 lost fumbles. I know Etienne has his own questions to answer, but I really do prefer his injury. And I prefer him as a prospect. Like if we took away the injuries and we said Etienne or Akers, people won't like this. Yeah, but I would take Etienne as a prospect.
People will take Etienne as well. I mean, I would take Etienne as well for sure.
Well, the only reason I say that is because before Cam Akers' injury, everyone had him in their top 5, right? Yeah. Some people had him as high as top 3, and I don't think people saw Etienne that way at that point. But I do prefer the injury that Etienne has sustained, and we've seen people come back from that. And then it also comes down to the 107, like you said. So let's just compare Brandon Ayuk to the wide receivers you could get at the 107 at that point, right?
Exactly.
Because if we want to just compare wide receivers to wide receivers, there are a lot of wide receivers I prefer over Brandon Ayuk in this class. I really, really like this class. Right. It might not be strong in quarterbacks. It might not have the strongest running backs ever. But the wide receivers, I think this is a pretty deep wide receiver class.
100%.
So
I agree as well.
Guys like Chris Olave, Jameson Williams, George Pickens, these are all wide receivers I would take over Ayuk in a heartbeat. And honestly, if I looked at it, I already prefer Etienne over Akers easily for me. And then I had to ask myself, well, what about the 107? Would I rather have Ayuk or the 107? It's easy. Like, I would rather have the 107. I just don't think you could trade Ayuk for the 107 straight up. So, but I'll say this, like, how can we justify it for both teams? I do think there is a way to justify it for both teams. I just have very strong views on the players that that Team B has. So if you see Akers in a light that I don't, you could argue the Rams have a much better offense
100%.
than the Jags, and I can't disagree with that. We know what Ayuk is, so maybe you're saying, well, I know who Ayuk is. I don't know what the 107 is going to turn out to be, even if it's a player that I like. So I can see the argument for both sides, but I do lean towards Team B.
I think another thing, before we move on to the grades is, what can Trey Lance be for Brandon Ayuk? What if one of these guys, an Olave, Pickens, or Jameson, does go to one of these elite quarterbacks, and goes to a team where you feel like has a better sustainable quarterback in the future and longevity wise? Maybe that can be a massive turning point for you as well. If Jameson goes to the Browns and Baker Mayfield re-signs a 3-year deal, that's shit for you. Like, that would suck,
I've seen him mocked a lot to the Chargers, which that would be crazy.
And that's easy. That's if Jameson Williams with a Chargers logo right next to him, there's no doubt I'm smashing that button out and I'm taking Team B.
Hey, when Jameson gets drafted by a really good team in the late first, all you guys are going to be changing your minds in these mocks that we do.
It all depends
rookie
on
mocks.
100%.
All you guys are going to be changing your mind like that. Okay, I've been on the Jameson Williams train as like a top 5 pick. Mm-hmm. No one's with me. That's fine. All right, let's give grades for this trade. For me, Team B wins the trade. I give them an A. Mm-hmm. And then Team A, I can see the value. I wouldn't do the trade, but it's a B- trade for me.
Yeah, for them. For me, it's both Bs. I think. We won't really know if it's truly even until we find out who that 107 is, and we probably will never find out. But if that one of those guys happens, then I think it's fairly even across the board. We
will find out. We will find out who it is.
Okay.
You're like, we're probably not going to find out who it is. Like, is World War III happening for real or something? Let's look at the second trade. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. Let's look at the second trade. Shout out to Aaron Swam. I actually think Aaron's name, like, that's his name on Discord. I think Kyle is his real name, because he supports us over on Patreon. Right. He's in one of our leagues. Mm-hmm. Let's look at the trade that he submitted.
This one's
over
crazy.
There on Discord. Mm-hmm. This is a insane trade. Okay, Team A gets J.K. Dobbins, Elijah Moore, 2022 first and a second, and the 23 first as well. Team B gets Cooper Kupp, Josh Jacobs, and a third in 2023. And there's a specific reason that we really wanted to show you this trade, because I think this is a really great example of how massively overvalued Cooper Kupp is in Dynasty right now. Okay. Yeah. You and I, Badaki, have been encouraging people to sell Cooper Kupp all offseason for deals just like this one. Mm-hmm. And for the people commenting on that, on those videos over when we're telling people to sell Cooper Kupp, saying no one's going to pay that price. There have been so many trades we have seen where people have massively overpaid for Cooper Kupp. So for me, you can tell I think that Team A won this by a landslide. But what about you?
No, no doubt about it. I put it here. Team A won by a mile. This Team A won, okay? And let me tell you why. And Zach was just saying you just overpaid. Team B, you just overpaid to acquire Cooper Kupp, okay? There's no doubt about it. And what you gave up was tremendous. These young pieces and assets. Once again, J.K. Dobbins, Elijah Moore, a 2022 first and a second, and you got a 2023 first. That's crazy. There's no way. Yeah. I probably would have just given up a 2022 first and maybe the second and trying to see if I can swindle that for Cooper Kupp. But, I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, like, I was trying to think, how do I justify this for Team B? The only way you can justify it is if you don't send those firsts. Do you know what I mean? Like, take out all the picks except for Aaron or Team A giving the second in 2022.
Yeah.
Like, those firsts,
it was
just
too much.
Put it way over the top.
It was too much.
And J.K. Dobbins, a lot of, like, we haven't seen it, but I still believe in the talent. He's my running back 9. Mm-hmm. So, getting him in a run-heavy offense. Elijah Moore, a guy that we both really love.
No doubt.
Wide receiver 16 for me in my rankings, only 21 years old. Showed elite production from week 7 to 13. He was a wide receiver 3 in that time span. So, it's really hard to justify this for Team B, but I think we wanted to show you guys this to just... Because this isn't the only one. We can show you a bunch of trades of Cooper Kupp being massively overvalued, but this is the most recent one that has happened. So I think that this is a clear win for Team A. I guess you could justify it maybe if Team B is a win now team, but even then,
exactly. That's what I was.
You just don't give away your entire future in these type of deals. I mean, this is how you get screwed down the road in Dynasty. So for me, it's a massive overpay. Is there a way you could justify it for Team B?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just a win now team. I think the best other thing that you could probably think of, just to say something nice about Team B, is that I think you still got a high, quote unquote, undervalued running back in Josh Jacobs. But, I've just been screaming in like 2 or 3 videos saying that you should either sell him or I'm selling him and not buying Josh Jacobs. So I think this is a good example of flipping Josh Jacobs to get a high-end running back in a J.K. Dobbins, but obviously that comes with all these other pieces as well. So it's really hard, but if that's the case, and if you are on a win-now team, congratulations. Maybe you can win. Maybe you can win the league.
I'm not on the sell Josh Jacobs side, but I even look at this and I'm like, J.K. Dobbins is clearly the more valuable running back. No,
exactly.
So Team B, you can't give up those picks. I mean, this might be even if you keep those firsts on your side. Mm-hmm. And again, this isn't to make fun of anyone at all. It's more to bring our perspective. I hope people see that. Let's give grades. Team A plus for me. Team B, D minus. Pretty easy.
Exactly the same for me. A plus with Team A and Team B, D minuses. I didn't want to say F, because you got Cooper Kupp, to be completely honest. If you didn't get Josh Jacobs there, it would have been F for me. But it's a
D. You know what? Let's say Team B goes out this year and wins a championship.
Send us a message.
Then it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter because you won a championship. I mean, your future is completely gone. But okay. Let us know. Do you agree with these trades? Do you disagree? Comment down below.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.